Snow White news.
Disney has come under fire after pictures have surfaced showing the diverse group of magical creatures who've replaced the seven dwarves. Now, before we get too far into discussing this, I'd first like to get into, let's call it the problematic history of Disney's live-action remake of Snow White.
Yeah, because we've been talking about this for a while,
Yeah,
right?
this has been going on since 2020. And then that's where we start off at. In 2020... Snow White was originally set to begin production. I think it was March. But COVID delayed the start of production on Snow White. Then in June of 2021, production picked up and we learned that Rachel Zegler from West Side Story would be playing Snow White. However, that elicited some questions from fans who pointed out the character is named Snow White because her skin is white as snow, and Rachel's of Colombian descent.
Ooh.
So she's more olive complected.
Well, like us.
Yeah, she's kind of like me. Yeah, which led to a bunch of people automatically questioning, what is Disney doing? They're back to their old tricks again. Then in early January of 2022, we find out that Andrew Burnap has been cast as the male lead in Snow White, but he's not playing Prince Charming, as this film won't have a Prince Charming. What? No Prince Charming in Snow White.
That's what it is.
No. This Snow White is a strong, independent female character.
No Prince Charming.
Don't need a Prince Charming.
That's not charming.
Instead, Burnap is going to be playing a lead character known simply as Jonathan. Yes. Jonathan Charming. No Charming.
Not Charming.
No.
Joe Nathan.
Jonathan Florian. I think is that his correct name? Florian? Is it Prince Florian, or is that maybe I'm thinking of Aurora?
You mean the actual Prince name?
The Prince name.
I don't know. I thought he just had the carousel behind the castle. Is that him? Or is that somebody else's castle?
Something like that.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
Prince Castle.
Less than 2 weeks after we learn about that, Peter Dinklage goes on Mark Maron's podcast and questions Disney's live-action remake of Snow White, saying, you're progressive in one way, but then you're still making that backwards story about seven dwarves living in a cave together. What the are you doing, man?
Wow.
Yeah, we covered this back on for show number 406.
We did.
When it first came out. Yeah.
I remember this.
And Disney quickly responded to Peter Dinklage by saying, to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated films, we are taking a different approach with these seven characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. However, they couldn't have talked too long with members of the dwarfism community because a day later it was being reported that the dwarves were out and the new casting sheets for Snow White described their replacements as seven magical creatures.
Seven magical
I remember
creatures.
this, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like unicorns and dragons stuff, because that I would see that.
Rhinoceroses.
Yeah. I would
Snorlaxes and Pokemon.
Yeah.
No.
Pikachu comes out singing hi ho. I would watch that.
Sure,
Was your
why
boy from
not?
Neverending Story in there? Or was that? What was it?
Atreyo?
Atreyo, yeah.
Atreyo could be a yes.
Oh my.
I'm in now.
Now, I think we gave it more thought than they did, though.
Oh.
Like, who wouldn't want to see Hercules as one of the magical creatures?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Or at
That's
least
happening.
Or at least his unicorn with the feathers.
Yes.
Yeah, be like, hell with Jonathan, we got Hercules.
Now, actors in the dwarfism community spoke out against this change. Specifically, Dylan Postel, who Eli and I know very well. He was Hornswoggle from WWE.
Right.
Also in the Leprechaun remake, he was
Muppets?
Muppets Most Wanted. Thank you. He was the most vocal because he said that this robbed the dwarfism community of acting roles that are very hard for that community to come by.
I can see that.
Yeah. Wee Man from Jackass spoke out. A couple of dwarf actors spoke out. I don't want to say a couple because it was at least upwards of 5 to 7 that I saw that were well known.
I like Wee Man.
Yeah.
Remember Wee Man.
So then in March of 2022, the set for the live action remake of Snow White, which was built at Pinewood Studios in the UK, caught fire.
Oh.
Was severely damaged and had to be rebuilt.
Oh, wow.
So I'm thinking that either Walt's ghost did it or that even God doesn't like Disney remakes. I don't know. But yeah, the whole set burned to the ground.
Wow, we
Wow.
dare you to make this movie.
Yeah, maybe not the whole set, but a good portion of the set. That thing went up.
Enough to be inconvenient. For
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, come on. The whole set was built out of wood.
They needed brick.
Right. So then in July of 2022, I was relieved to hear some positive news about this Seven Dwarfs remake, and that Martin Kleba, best known as Marty from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, announced that he was just done filming Snow White and that he was set to play Grumpy.
Oh, cool.
So I kind of thought that, okay, well, cool. Disney is sticking with the dwarves after all, and they're casting actors from the community. However, currently, Kleba's IMDb page doesn't list him as an actor in the film. It merely lists him as a technical advisor.
He's telling him how to be short.
I don't know.
How to be a pirate?
Yeah.
How to be a dwarf? I don't know. Maybe that's part of it, because when you see what we just saw, which is that this last week we saw leaked photos and video that appeared to be from Disney's Snow White production. Showed an actress in a red hood and a cape, and Snow White's distinctive yellow and blue dress underneath that, and following her were 7 actors of varying size, ethnicity, and gender.
Beautiful.
Now, how do I put this? This is a Disney podcast. So if you listen to this, you've probably already seen the photos. But if you haven't seen the photos, I suggest you Google search them, because it looks like Renaissance Festival rejects. And
Yeah.
I'm going to go through it as best as I can. Again, I would just suggest that you go see the photos. I'm going to start from back to front. I'm going to start from the last dwarf or magical creature all the way to the front. From back to front, the last guy looks like the lead singer of the Spin Doctors. Then as you go up, you get Rudy and Bud from the Cosby Show.
And Bud.
But then next up, apparently, I think Ignatius Riley got a job at Medieval Times. Then you get a homeless Owen Wilson. Then there's Carlito from the WWE. And then finally, we have a magical creature played by an actor of a small stature. And